All right, new this morning, we do have some new satellite imagery showing the effects of this U.S. strike on Fordo, the nuclear facility inside Iran, from Operation Midnight Hammer. You can see this is the before satellite image of the Fordo nuclear plant, and then after, you can see these craters, 3 craters here and here. Presumably, those are the impacts of the U.S. bunker-busting bombs. Now, the key is to assess how much damage was actually done underground. That's ongoing. And as that happens, an incredible amount of awareness now on the possibility of the Iranian counterattack. With us now, CNN senior military analyst, retired Admiral James Stavridis, former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO and a partner of the Carlyle Group, an international investment firm. Admiral, great to see you. When we talk about possible Iranian response, it's important to show the U.S. assets in the region. How many U.S. troops are right nearby Iran, both here and here? What do you think the Iranian options are?
I think there are 3. One is very attractive to the West, which would be that the Iranians could have a sudden epiphany, come to their senses, come to the table, negotiate a solution, and rejoin the world of nations. Unlikely. Option 2, however, is much more likely, John, and that's where we get into your magic board. They could create a series of kind of calibrated, if you will, face-saving strikes going against U.S. assets. There are about 40,000 troops in the area, dozens of warships out at sea, constant planes flying. There are also soft targets, American businessmen and women, expats who work in the region. There are embassies, there are consulates. We have deep relationships. The Iranians could go after them, but do it in a targeted kind of way that they would hope would not invite a second massive U.S. response. Option 3, John, is the one we ought to worry about, and it's not impossible. Sarah was talking about it a moment ago. What if the Iranians decide to close the Strait of Hormuz? They have the capability to do that, at least for a few months, using mines, using sunken warships. You're pointing at the strait now. 20%, 25% of the world's energy, oil and gas, flows through that. So massive disruption, huge hike in oil and gas prices, very dangerous scenario. That's option 3, that the Iranians decide to go big at this point. I don't think they will. I worry about it. So far, the markets are taking this in stride.
So far, the markets are taking it in stride, which is interesting in and of itself. Basically, futures pointing flat right now. You talked about the possibility of targeting the Straits of Hormuz right there, the Strait of Hormuz right there. That would be the closest to Iran. There is also concern about other asymmetric measures they could take. Terror attacks there. How seriously would you take that right now?
I would take it very seriously. And as I mentioned, certainly the obvious targets would be to go after U.S. ambassadors, U.S. generals and admirals who are stationed in the region. But they could also go after soft targets, meaning U.S. citizens who are operating. Frankly, I look at reporters who are inside Iran who could be taken hostage. I wouldn't put that past the Iranians if they decide to go big. And then something we haven't talked about, John, that would be cyber. The Iranians have very, very strong cyber capabilities. Our military is pretty hardened, well defended. We could certainly retaliate. They know that. But they could use cyber to go after soft targets, everything from oil field machinery to terminals for ports, ships, aircraft. That would be another form of going big. I don't think they'll go big, but all of those capabilities are within their grasp.
You know, as a former naval officer yourself, you know how much the Iranians operate in these waterways here, and in some of the chaos they've caused in the past, certainly a possibility going forward. Admiral James Stavridis, thank you so much for being with us this morning.